Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm putting it all on the line and exposing my Tesla stock price targets for every single year over the next 10 years. The reason I'm doing this is to give you guys and girls some insights into where I see the company's stock price going over the next decade. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be perfect. I've never seen the stock price of any company ever follow a perfectly smooth path. That's not the point. The point, however, is to give you guys an idea of the overall trend I see happening with Tesla stock. I'll also be describing every major catalyst between now and early into next decade so we can see why I believe Tesla stock can continue to grow year after year after year. This video is intended only for long-term investors. If you don't plan on holding Tesla stock for at least the next decade, get the f*** out of here. No, I'm serious. Get the f*** out of here. This information could be very dangerous and costly in the hands and the minds of people who do not have a long-term investment mindset nor the temperament to buy and hold in high-quality companies over the long term. If you're the kind of person who likes to trade in and out of stocks, have a little bit of fun gambling in the stock casino, lock in some short-term profits, the door's that way. And for everyone who's still watching and not too triggered, let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it. So let's go through my Tesla stock price targets for the next 10 years. And keep in mind, these are my bear case scenarios. I'm not even going to talk about my base case or my bull case because I will literally get laughed off the interwebs. I'll save those for another day, but just keep in mind, I do believe that these are conservative. And I also just want to point out, as I said in the introduction, these won't be perfect. Stocks don't travel in a perfectly smooth path. They're all over the place. We saw Tesla stock did effectively nothing for 5 years between 2014 and 2019, then finally did all the catching up it should have been doing over the previous 5 years in a single year and 10x'd and then some in less than 12 months. So please keep that in mind. These won't be accurate predictions of where Tesla stock is going to be on this year or that year, but I personally believe the trend will be pretty close, and that's what's worth focusing on. My Tesla stock price target for 2022 year end is $1,100 per share, approximately a 40% increase from where we are today. The two major catalysts are the Austin factory and the Berlin factory, each of which will produce multiple millions of vehicles over the long term every single year. We know Berlin alone is targeting a 2+ million total production output over the long term. Tesla hasn't announced any long-term production estimates for the Austin factory, but my best guess is at least 2, maybe 3 million vehicles per year. Now, admittedly, there are a lot of very, very dumb analysts covering Tesla stock and a lot of even dumber people in the mainstream media who don't really notice what's happening, but let's spell it out in really simple terms. Today, Tesla's global annual vehicle production capacity is approximately 1 million vehicles per year. Call it 500,000 from Fremont and about 500,000 from Shanghai. In terms of Tesla's stock price, even in the worst case scenario, if the dopey analysts and the folks in the mainstream media and many retail investors don't do their homework and think that the Berlin factory will only ever produce 500,000 vehicles per year and Austin will only ever produce 500,000 vehicles per year total, even in that extremely conservative scenario, next year, Tesla is laying the foundation to literally double their annual vehicle capacity from 1 million to 2 million vehicles per year. I suspect in 2022, quarter after quarter, Tesla will smash production and delivery records, but more importantly than that, they will prove to even the densest of Wall Street analysts and the dopiest of retail investors out there, wow, they really can make a profit. Wow, their margins really are growing. Wow, they really are as capital efficient as those weirdos on YouTube have been saying for some time. 2022 is the year that everyone, barring those with extreme mental disabilities, and I'm not making fun here, I'm being serious, barring people with extreme mental disabilities, will realize, wow, Tesla is an extremely profitable money printing machine. The more vehicles they make, the more money they make, the more profit they make. Wow, this is pretty cool. And at the same time, Tesla building 2 new factories, effectively doubling their production overnight. Oh, wow. They're making more money, and the more vehicles they make, the more money they make, and now they're making more factories to make more vehicles to make more money. These 2 core catalysts combined are what I see driving Tesla's stock price to $1,100 per share by year-end 2022. My Tesla stock price target for year-end 2023 is $2,200 per share. The 2 major catalysts here, the volume production of the Cybertruck and the ramping of the 4680 cell. The Cybertruck is going to be a money printing machine. The techniques, the technologies, the way this is actually produced, once volume production starts to scale up, this thing is going to make extraordinary amounts of money for Tesla. I don't think most people really realize this, unless of course they've seen my Cybertruck is Engineering Genius video, card in the corner if you've somehow not seen that video. By year end 2023, I think we'll have seen Tesla successfully ramp the 4680 cells to high volume production, and this is a massive shift for the automotive industry. Tesla has a plan with the 4680 cells to effectively drive the cost of batteries down by about 50% over the medium term. This is huge. At this point in time, I believe that the stock market overall is very skeptical on whether or not A, Tesla can actually ramp these cells up, and B, whether they can see the huge cost savings they've actually talked about at their Battery Investor Day. 2023 is the year that I believe Tesla proves the skeptics wrong and really begins to implement the 4680 cells across their board in almost all, if not all, of their vehicles. That, of course, includes the structural battery pack, and with it, weight savings and massive cost savings. My Tesla stock price target for year-end 2024 is $3,000 per share. In 2024, I am expecting the 2 biggest catalysts to date in the history of Tesla, robotaxis doing their first fully autonomous fares somewhere on planet Earth, most likely in the US, maybe in China, and the release of the $25,000 Tesla, aka the Tesla Q. Please, if anyone at Tesla's watching, make sure this name happens. Predicting the exact date of the solving autonomy obviously is a very, very difficult task. I believe now Tesla's approach to pure vision is the solution. It's just a matter of accumulating enough data and then proving to regulators how much safer than human drivers this software is in 99.9999% of cases. And I believe 2024 is the year that this finally happens. Could be sooner. I doubt it will be later, but time will tell. Now, if the stock market were logical and rational, I personally believe the day that Tesla does their first fully autonomous, driverless robotaxi fare anywhere on Earth, Tesla stock should effectively double, triple, quadruple, quintuple overnight. But I don't expect this is how things will play out. I think that the sluggish and slightly blind stock market is going to take a while for the implications to truly sink in, and need to see the expansion of Tesla's robotaxi fleet systematically rolling out in more areas, more cities, more states, more countries, more revenue coming in before they wake up and go, oh shit, this is huge. So the way that I expect this to play out as it relates to the price of Tesla stock is year after year, from 2024 and beyond throughout the decade, Tesla stock continually and consistently growing in value as people realize the size and scale of the robotaxi opportunity. ARK Invest have published research suggesting this is a $12 trillion opportunity, and I personally believe Tesla is going to take a very significant double-digit share of that opportunity. But I don't think the stock market is going to realize this, at least not initially, and that's why I don't think Tesla is going to absolutely go to the moon the instant the first robotaxi fair takes place. But hey, I'm happy to be proven wrong. My 2025 year-end price target for Tesla stock is $3,550 per share. In terms of catalysts, I believe this is a year that Tesla first exceeds 5 million plus vehicles produced in a single calendar year. And I also suspect that somewhere around this point in time, hey, I've got to pick a year, so 2025 it is, that Tesla's HVAC system will enter production. And in addition to that, I believe we'll start to see some fairly substantial revenue coming in from infotainment and gaming sales within Tesla vehicles on the back of autonomy. After all, if you don't need to pay attention while you're inside a Tesla vehicle and you can be driven safely from point A to point B, what do you think you're going to be doing inside a Tesla? Twiddling your thumbs? I doubt it, unless by twiddling your thumbs you mean using a gaming controller. At this point in time, Tesla's install base of total users will be many, many millions. Each of these people able to buy games, apps, products, subscriptions, etc. from within their Tesla vehicle. At this point in time, the foolish notion that Tesla is just a car company that still is being repeated by portions of the bell curve today will be a thing of the past. People will recognize that Tesla is a money printing machine on the back of extremely high margins driven by software revenue, not just full self-driving software, but also infotainment and gaming from within a Tesla. My Tesla stock price target for year end 2026 is $4,200 per share. In 2026, I see two major catalysts for Tesla's stock price, both of which come in the form of software revenue. The first, licensing fees from Tesla's full self-driving software. It's already obvious today that Tesla's lead in terms of autonomy is unassailable, meaning no one will ever catch up to them, meaning no one will ever have autonomous software that's even close to as safe as Tesla's software. Tesla will have data to prove this. By mid-decade or so, around 2026, I suspect that most automotive manufacturers on planet Earth will be licensing full self-driving software from Tesla because they've realized they're never going to catch Tesla, and there's no point spending the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars even bothering to try when they're struggling to stay in business in the first place. And very special shout out to all the moronic companies today who are still pursuing an autonomous strategy that involves unnecessary sensors like LiDAR. I cannot believe today that these folks do not see the writing on the wall. Oh, and speaking of not seeing the writing on the wall, another special shout out to Uber and Lyft, who'll be struggling to remain solvent at this point in the decade too. The second major software catalyst for Tesla stock in 2026, Dojo as a service. Now, I believe that Dojo as a service will actually be offered prior to this point in time, but I believe the second half of the decade, the second half of the 2020s, is where we really start to see this scale up in terms of total revenue it brings to Tesla. My Tesla stock price target for year end 2027 is $5,500 per share. Now, 2027 may in fact be my favorite year for Tesla stock over the next decade. Why? The $18,000 Tesla. The one they haven't told us about yet. Now, the $25,000 Tesla, which they have told us about, I personally expect is going to sell a few million units per year, somewhere on the order of say 4 to 6, maybe even 7 million units per year. Hard to know exactly, but that's the ballpark in terms of annual sales for that vehicle. The next generation after that, so obvious it hurts, yet Tesla of course haven't told us about that yet. The Osborne effect, what's the point of telling us about the next generation when the 25k Tesla isn't even in production? But mark my words, it will be coming, and this will change everything. I suspect that Tesla's $18,000 Tesla will sell on the order of 10 to 12 million units per year, maybe more. And I believe that by 2027 at the latest, this $18,000 Tesla, give or take, will already be ramping up to volume production. Make no mistake about it. It's the $25,000 Tesla that completely fucks the internal combustion engine industry. But it is the $18,000 Tesla that shits on their grave. Oh, and by the way, just so you guys and girls are clear, these are not inflation adjusted numbers. I'm talking about these prices in 2021 dollars, so please keep that in mind. At the time these vehicles actually enter production, the dollar amount will be a little bit higher than I'm suggesting here, but in terms of real terms, adjusting for inflation, these are the price points that I expect these vehicles to come out at. $25,000 Tesla, and then the next generation, $18,000, about 25% cheaper. Wait. Did you think I was already done with catalysts for Tesla's stock price in 2027? I'm afraid not. I also suspect that somewhere around this point of time, around the last third of the 2020s, Tesla will begin to supply battery cells to other companies, not necessarily just automotive manufacturers, but I believe somewhere around this point in time, they'll have solved their material constraint, they'll have solved their cell constraint, they'll have ramped these things up, and I believe there'll be an insane amount of demand for these cells from anyone who can get their hands on them. Keep in mind, at this point in time, Tesla will be far and away the world's largest producer of battery cells, and therefore, they will have the greatest economies of scale, and therefore, no one will be able to match them on price or quality. Let me just put this on the record. If Tesla isn't supplying battery cells to other companies by the late 2020s, they have fucked up. Tesla should be aiming to produce as many battery cells as humanly possible as fast as possible. They know the long-term needs of planet Earth to transition to a sustainable economy. Tesla can put as many cells in their own vehicles as they can. Then any surplus can go into battery storage products, and then any surplus can go to other companies who want those cells. It's pretty simple. So let me reiterate once again. If Tesla reaches a point late in the 2020s where they do not have cells in excess of their own needs for vehicles and storage products, they have majorly fucked up. And one final catalyst for Tesla stock in 2027. At this point in time, I believe their annual production will exceed 10 million vehicles per year. This will be a very significant milestone for Tesla. For those who don't know, the biggest automotive manufacturers in the world, in a single year, in their record years, have only ever sold around 10.x million vehicles. So you might be thinking to yourself, so that's the year that Tesla finally becomes the world's largest automotive manufacturer. You would be wrong. You see, you may have forgotten or be unaware of the fact that all of the world's largest automotive manufacturers today, the likes of General Motors and Toyota, will have collapsing sales volumes beginning yesterday. They're never going to recover. These companies that once were selling around 10 million vehicles per year will be struggling to sell a few million vehicles by around 2027. In fact, they'll be struggling to even be in business at that point in time. By the end of the decade, these once mighty companies will be struggling to sell 1 million vehicles per year because they didn't see the electric vehicle disruption coming until it was too late. My Tesla stock price target for year end 2028 is $6,900 per share. No, not just for the lols. The main catalyst, the Tesla bot, tentatively codenamed Optimus. Now, at this point in time, I suspect that the Tesla bot will have been in production for a number of years. However, I think its capabilities will finally have gone beyond keeping lonely Tesla Q basement dwelling adult virgins company. Of course, what I meant to say there is that its capabilities will have gone beyond just basic physical mechanical tasks. As I've said previously, I believe that Tesla is clearly on the path to developing artificial general intelligence to be deployed through their humanoid robot, although I don't expect this will be happening anytime in the 2020s or the 2030s. Stay tuned for the 2040s and beyond. However, over time, as Tesla's robots, their humanoid bots, become more and more intelligent, more and more capable, I think the stock market is going to begin to appreciate the enormous, and I mean enormous, potential of the Tesla humanoid robot over the coming decades. The stock market still doesn't fully appreciate the colossal value that Tesla's autonomy, their robotaxis, will actually provide to the marketplace. Sure, Tesla stock is recognizing some of that value, but nowhere near the full potential value. The same will be true of the Tesla bot, but I think somewhere around 2028 is where the stock market starts to first see a glimmer of the real long-term potential and the full scale of this opportunity. Of course, this is pure speculation. 2028 is a long time away, and the further out into the future, the blurrier things become. But I'm just trying to give you guys and girls a general sense of what I believe can continue to drive the price of Tesla stock, the main catalyst over the next 10 years. And I think late this decade is when people really start to appreciate the potential of the Tesla bot. Not fully, but start to begin to appreciate the true potential. My Tesla stock price target for year end 2029 is $9,550 per share. Now, at this point in time, a few of you may be wondering to yourself, Stephen, where the f*** are you getting these numbers from? Are you just pulling them out of your ass? As much as I'd like to be doing that, no, I have actually thought about these numbers in detail. If you haven't seen my videos, I've already talked in detail about my projections for Tesla stock in 2026. I'll put a card in the corner. I go through everything, revenue, sales, automotive, all of that. These numbers are actually grounded in reality based on my own projections. I'm not just making them up as I go. And I've also made a video talking about Tesla stock in 2031, 10 years from now. I'll also put a card in the corner if you haven't seen that video again, running through all the numbers in great detail. At this point in time, the main driver of Tesla's stock price is going to be their absolutely colossal profit margins. And I'm not just talking about their margins on their vehicles, which I expect will be 30, 35, maybe approaching 40%. I'm talking about the insane amount of software revenue, almost pure profit. Tesla's going to be selling their full self-driving package, most likely predominantly through monthly subscriptions. I also think the Tesla insurance fees will be bundled in. In other words, you get the full self-driving package, which also comes with Tesla insurance, and pay a monthly fee. And at this point in time, Tesla's going to have a fleet approaching 100 million vehicles in total. Almost every single one of these vehicles paying a monthly fee to access their autonomous software and have Tesla insurance, plus many users also opting in for purchases of infotainment, productivity, gaming, etc. To give you guys some context, to date, the PlayStation 4 has sold approximately 115 million units. At this point in time, late in the decade, around 2029 or so, Tesla will have an install base comparable in size. Of course, not every single person in a Tesla is going to be downloading games, subscribing to services, etc. But just think about the potential here. It is enormous. My 2030 year-end price target for Tesla stock is $12,200 per share. A little bit more than it is today as I record this in 2021. At this point in time, I believe that Tesla first hits 20 million vehicles produced in a single year. Of course, in the background, Tesla's continued to grow. They've got more and more recurring revenue. bigger and bigger profit margins, an insane amount of almost pure software revenue coming through as well. Dojo as a service is exploding. The Tesla bot continues to improve and become even more valuable. Tesla's energy business is now generating, storing, and distributing huge amounts of the world's energy. Tesla's storage products are all over the place. There's Tesla Solar all over the place. They're supplying batteries to other companies. They're licensing their full self-driving to other companies. Tesla has fingers in just about every pie that matters. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, or just skipped ahead to, my Tesla stock price target for year end 2031. $17,420 per share. I may have rounded that just a little bit. Now, I understand to some of you this may sound a little insane, and others completely insane, and others still somewhat conservative. I want to emphasize once again, this is my bear case for Tesla's stock price in 2031. Throughout this video, when describing my Tesla stock price targets over the next decade, I've only described catalysts that we either already know about or are just extremely obvious. I haven't allowed for any new innovation. I mean, let's think about this. Tesla, the world's smartest engineers, the world's greatest engineer leading the company. Maybe 2031, that's no longer the case, but Elon Musk will still have a very hands-on role. Do you really think that between now and the end of the decade, and then a little bit beyond that, Tesla isn't going to create new products and new services? Do you really think that Tesla's just going to stop innovating and go, you know what? Yeah, we've changed the world enough. Let's just kick our feet up now and just cruise for the next 10 years. I doubt it. So please keep in mind that my 2031 price target for Tesla stock doesn't include any new innovation. This is why I believe it's quite bearish. I actually believe that throughout the 2030s, Tesla can continue to grow at multi-double-digit percentages year after year in terms of revenue, continue to increase their profitability. One, initially on the back of autonomy, far more miles being driven in total on Earth because of the utility, the much cheaper cost of a robotaxi versus personal vehicle ownership. Tesla's going to benefit enormously from this. But the key to Tesla's growth in the 2030s and especially the 2040s is the Tesla humanoid robot. Had Tesla not unveiled their humanoid robot at AI Day, I would have assumed that in the 2030s we could expect Tesla's growth to slow down fairly dramatically. After all, they'll already be far and away the world's largest company at that time, worth many, many, many trillions of dollars. Surely they can't continue to grow at multi-double-digit percentages beyond that. But the Tesla robot has changed everything. In 2031, 10 years from now, it still may not be obvious that Tesla is in the lead and ultimately on the path to creating artificial general intelligence. But mark my words, they are. And once the stock market starts to get an inkling of this possibility, everything changes. So don't say I didn't warn you. I'd love to know what you guys think of this video, your thoughts. Do you think these price targets are reasonable, too bearish, too bullish, completely insane, ultra conservative, somewhere in between? And also, if you have some, what are your Tesla stock price targets in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card, where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.